Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be diving right into what is literally a rapidly escalating pressure cooker in the Middle East. I'm talking about the super high-stakes military standoff right now between the United States and Iran. Let's just jump straight into the facts as they're unfolding.
So the big question on everyone's mind is a new war brewing in the Middle East? This is absolutely the critical question dominating international affairs right now. We're seeing some truly unprecedented maneuvers out there, moves that really threaten to turn this long-simmering regional Cold War into a direct, open conflict.
All right, Section 1, the Persian Gulf Flashpoint.
Okay, so to understand this, we have to look at the geographic center of this whole standoff, the Strait of Hormuz. You know, this highly contested global choke point is just absolutely vital to the world's energy supply. It's so narrow, meaning any military confrontation there instantly becomes a massive global economic crisis. Moving on to Section 2, the massive U.S. buildup.
Now check out this number, 15,000. The sheer scale of the U.S. response here is honestly staggering. 15,000 U.S. troops are currently part of this massive deployment spread across the Middle East. It's a huge logistical undertaking, and it clearly signals a very severe shift in military posture. Breaking that down a bit more, CENTCOM isn't just moving ground troops. We're talking about a deployment that includes 3 aircraft carriers and over 200 fighter jets. To put that into perspective, this represents the highest United States conventional military presence in the Persian Gulf in over 2 decades. It's deployed largely as this overwhelming visual deterrent. Which brings us to Section 3, historical parallels to 2003.
It's fascinating because current events are really echoing the past here. Let's rewind 2 decades. In 2003, the 43rd president, George W. Bush, initiated a massive military buildup just prior to operations in Iraq. Fast forward 23 years later, and sources are pointing out a direct parallel. We're seeing the 47th president, Donald Trump, initiating a remarkably similar buildup, but this time surrounding Iran.
Let's look at the other side in Section 4, Iran's defiant ultimatum.
So according to certain analysts, Iranian forces, often using these complex proxy networks, have actually previously targeted and effectively disabled 16 U.S. military installations across Qatar, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. Now, whether you view that as historical fact or strategic posturing, this claim really highlights Tehran's willingness to flex its retaliatory muscles.
And the rhetoric coming from Tehran's highest ranks? Well, it's completely unyielding. Take Major General Mohsen Rezai, their former defense chief. He issued a really stark warning, saying, the U.S. is spreading heat in the Strait of Hormuz, which is piracy. Iran is ready to sink those ships and dig graves for the U.S. forces. Strong words, right?
That takes us to Section 5, Tehran's underground arsenal.
What we're looking at here is a textbook asymmetrical standoff. On one hand, the U.S. projects this highly visible, overwhelming conventional might, the aircraft carriers, the jets, to act as a deterrent. Conversely, Iran relies on hidden, asymmetrical power. We're talking deeply entrenched underground missile bases, suicide drones, and those regional proxy networks designed to strike when you least expect it.
To try and quantify that hidden force, consider this. Iran's deputy defense minister claims that over 25 years of dedicated effort, Tehran has manufactured 1,000 different types of weapons.
And Western analysts actually acknowledge that Iran holds the absolute largest missile stockpile in the entire Middle East. This includes those newly unveiled underground bases housing thousands of ready-to-launch missiles, alongside these huge fleets of unutilized suicide drones that are frankly perfectly suited for asymmetrical warfare.
Underscoring this confidence, Iran's Navy commander, Rear Admiral Shahram Irani, recently provoked adversaries with this statement. He said, "Very soon an armament will strike the enemies. I hope this weapon does not cause the Zionists to have a heart attack." Now, our job here isn't to validate the threat, but we have to highlight that this fierce posturing is a major critical driver of the current standoff.
Finally, Section 6, a looming regional conflict.
The warnings from military experts right now are incredibly stark. A preemptive or retaliatory strike from the U.S. is highly unlikely to remain contained. Because of this massive web of rivalries and proxy forces embedded all throughout the Middle East, a localized strike could instantly trigger a devastating, widespread ground war across the entire region.
So, the ultimate question we're left with. Will this pressure cooker boil over into a devastating regional war, or will it remain a tense but sustainable geopolitical standoff?
All the pieces are currently on the board. Massive conventional fleets, hidden asymmetrical arsenals, and a deep history of regional proxy conflicts. The stakes literally couldn't be higher. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep a close watch on the Persian Gulf.